Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm from the UK, but I work in Peru for a local NGO in the north called ECO, and I work as a research ecologist. My speciality is in mammals and the use of camera traps. The Andean bear is South America's only bear species, so it's quite special. It has quite a big range as well. It lives from Venezuela all the way down through Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and some parts of Argentina as well. But most of its range is within Peru. It covers quite a lot of different habitat types, so it's a really adapted species. It can live in cloud forests, high Andean grasslands, and also dry forests and even desert regions as well. It's also one of the only bears that has a false thumb. So it's not a full thumb, but like a tiny extra finger to help it feed on these plants that it loves called bromeliads. As an ecologist specializing in mammals, most mammals are very hard to see in real life. So we're using camera traps to help us see where the bears are. And a camera trap is a camera that's remotely triggered. So anything that moves in front of the camera, it takes a picture. But it doesn't just take one picture, it takes between 3 to 10 pictures in very quick successions. The first trip was a workshop trip, so we did a training session with the park rangers, and we went to one of the farm areas where a farmer had seen an Andean bear recently. So we went to set up cameras there, and we got some cool videos there just with them being up in a couple of weeks. But then we started camera trapping in the desert part first. And then I built up more resources in the project, and then we could put more out in the Andean part. And as soon as we put the camera traps out in the Andean part, there was, I think, about 8 of the cameras have got photos so far, but we're still sorting out through all of the images. But their knowledge is vital to our work because they're from the Andes, so they know how to navigate through the environment. And it's some of the locations that we have to put the camera traps are in really difficult areas to access, and they just have so much more skill to get there, and they can go places I can't as well. You have to be a really skilled horse rider, or you have to know how to drive a motorbike over some quite tricky terrain. And also, they're really eagle-eyed. They can spot an Andean bear footprint from, just a few specks of dust in the sand. The cameras are there to monitor where the bears are and where the bears aren't. And we use this data to build up a picture of the distribution of the Andean bear in the reserve, but also how close are they towards resources that they might need, such as water. No one's actually studied desert bear populations, which could be distributed in the landscape more differently because obviously water is very scarce and the food is also distributed differently as well. So we're hoping to build up a picture of how the Andean bears survive in the desert, and hopefully we can translate that into management plans and then better conservation action. That's such a good question. I think I've always been interested in animals and nature, like from a small child. Yeah, and I was really good at geography at school, but also I loved biology at the same time. And then it wasn't until I was about 16 years old I discovered what ecology was. And it's like this great like middle path between biology and geography as well, and looking at species populations. I always looked at those nature documentaries on the TV were always so inspiring as well. And I always wanted to travel as well. So ecology was just both of those things put together.